Hey guys, have your chapter 2 review out. I'm hoping we're just checking answers, going through them. If you're doing it with me, then I ask that you pause it and then write your work, start it, pause it, start it, because I'm not going to stop. It'll take me long to do that. So I'm just going through them, but I'll give you guys like a chance to pause it, okay? Take this seriously. It does not have the stuff that you just did last class. So I might just throw in some compound inequalities at the end just to make sure we're good. Okay, I brought a little buddy. I think he's so cute. Look, little raccoony. Okay, I'll keep him with us as we work just because it makes me laugh. Okay, Lipinski. You guys get your name on there. That's the raccoon's not Lipinski. He's just funny. Okay, you guys go ahead, graph. Pause it. Do like I said. Okay. Variable has to be on the left side, right? Make sure the variable is always on the left side. Okay, the second one, you're going to have to flip this whole thing because the variable is on the right. Don't forget to flip it. This one has to be a closed-in circle because of the equal then, right? The equal to. Less than, equal to. The substitute teacher is wonderful today, and he is very capable of helping you guys. For these, it just says to write the inequality. So I'm writing it down. Pick your number, open circle. Okay, x is greater than -6. Keep going, remove our buddy. Hey, raccoon. Okay. Mashed is multiply, inverse of multiply, divide. We're doing opposite operations to opposite sides, right? Opposite sides of the inequality sign, opposite operations. Opposite of multiply is divide. Because we divided by a negative, we have to reverse the sign. Now this will not be full credit. I have to reverse the whole entire statement, not just the sign, the whole statement. So I end up with b is greater than 4. On the test, you will have to graph all of them. Okay, here's my division where the inequality symbol is. I want to isolate the x. Inverse operation of adding a -14 is just to add +14. -14 plus 14 is 0. Use your calculators, even if you do it in your head. Please, please check your work. Flip the whole statement. We're reversing the whole entire statement. Okay. You got plenty of room to work on there. Inverse and multiply is to divide. This time, I'm dividing by a positive number. Yes, the negative is in front of -180, but it's what I divide by. You got to remember that. Up here on number 5, the reason I reversed the symbol was because I divided by a negative. When you divide by or multiply by a negative, you have to reverse the sign. If you don't, the statement is no longer true. Oops. So n is greater than equal to 2 goes in there, 9. Now I cannot leave the variable on the right side, so I reverse the whole entire statement. N is greater than equal to -9. Okay, number 8. You guys probably struggled a little bit. Look at it, see what you got. Okay. Does it make you laugh? That's funny. Oh. Okay, I need to get rid of the number that's with the x. That x, the goal is to have x isolated. So I have to get rid of the 17. This is division, right? Inverse operation of division is multiplication. So I'm multiplying by 17. I'm going to rewrite this so it's easier to look at. The 17 is really over a 1, okay? So these 17s cancel. And I end up with 11 divided by 1 on the left side. 11, anything divided by itself, that's just 11. Now I reverse the entire statement, okay? The whole thing is reversed. Okay, first page done. Make sure you're doing a good job. You guys try the work first, okay? Don't just do it with me. That's not going to help you. You have to try it first. Pause it, watch it, okay? Right? Is good. You have to undo, add, and subtract first. Remember, it's always DC, ma'am. Thank you, Brooke. Distribute. Combine like terms on each side. Move the variable. You always undo, add, subtract first. Undo, multiply, divide second. Okay? That's how you always do it. So we have to undo the add and subtract first. Opposite sides, we do opposite operations. Opposite of division is multiplication. Okay? Move the little raccoony. I'm going to rewrite this since I got it kind of mashed. Remember, there's a plus in front of there. When nothing is written in, it's a plus. So opposite of adding a 3, do not look behind it, look in front of it. Okay, my goal is to get the m by itself, so I have to get rid of this negative 10 as well as the 3. Negative 10 is multiplied with the m. 3 is their add, subtract. We always undo, add, subtract first, then multiply and divide. That's our order. We have to do it that way. Okay. Do not lose this negative. That is part of the 10. It's part of who he is. Now, opposite of multiply, inverse operation is division. Notice we're dividing by a negative. You have to remember, when you multiply or divide by a negative, you always reverse the inequality symbol. Okay? Now go ahead. Now we have to reverse the entire statement so that the m is on the right. On the left side, sorry. Okay. Same logic is here. Okay. Undo the add, subtract. We want n by itself. We have to get rid of negative 2 and the negative 9. We always undo the add, subtract first. And then we undo the multiplication division last. And this is multiplied, mashed is multiplied. This time I divided by a negative. I have to reverse my inequality symbol. Okay? And that gives me negative 15. Okay. Undo, we got to get the v, the variable by itself. We have to get rid of the negative 2 and the 7. The 7's addition. The negative 2 is by division. So we undo the add, subtract, and then the multiply, divide. So we're going to get rid of the 7. Use your calculator to check your thoughts. Negative 3 minus 7. Write down what you think it is, but then also check it. Okay, now inverse operation of division's multiplication. Negative times a negative, right, is a positive. What did I do wrong, you guys? What did I do? I multiplied by negative. What did I forget? Okay, right away, I was supposed to reverse my sign. This should be less than. I multiplied by a negative. This should be less than. Now you go ahead and flip the whole entire statement, right? So V is less than 20. Just don't miss this right here. You have to reverse when you multiply by a negative. Okay. DC ma'am said we have to distribute first. This is a very hard problem. This is super hard. This is a negative 5 times 2, and then it's going to be a negative 5 times a negative 8. Let's first write down this negative 6. Negative 5 times 2 is minus 10. Okay? Negative 5 with the negative 8. Subtract 5 with subtract 8. We're multiplying, so it's going to be plus 40x. There's the first place that you guys have to be super careful, is at addition. Did you have addition there? Because you're pausing it, right? This is just to check your work. Now you're going like terms. They're on the same side. When they're on the same side, you just do whatever it tells you. This says negative 6, subtract 10. Do it, but check it with your calculator. Okay. We have to get rid of, we want x by itself, so we have to get rid of the 16 as well as the 40. The 16 is by addition, subtraction. The 40 is by multiplication. You always do undo the add, subtract first. Okay? Then go ahead, divide by 40. Inverse of multiplication is division. Okay. Over here, same idea. Your multiplication, this one's much easier. This one's a challenge problem, okay, because of the negatives. And then you had, right, the negative part that I circled was hard. This one's easier, it's all addition. Okay. 6 times 3. Make sure you have 18, and 6 times 2. Now, you have to add like terms, and this time on the same side. On the same side, do what it says. It says negative 4 plus 12. Okay, let's go ahead and subtract 8. These are gone. Okay, 116 minus 8. 108. And then divide by 18. I'm checking real quick. Okay, yep. So when you divide, use your calculators. You got m less than equal to a 6. And I'm going to reverse the whole thing. Okay, m less than equal to 6. Okay. Let's check. This one's a little bit hard, not crazy. Negative 8 times 1. Negative 8 times a positive 8. Make sure you have this subtraction in front of the 64. Negative 64 or subtract 64. Okay, now these are on the same side of the inequality sign. We combine like terms, right? DC, ma'am, distribute, combine like terms. On the same side, do what it says. Negative 64 plus 4 is negative 60. Use your calculator, check your work. Okay. Now we, ma'am, AM are the last two letters. Undo, add, subtract, then the multiply, divide. We want x by itself. We get rid of this 8 and then the 60. Okay. This is a double whammy jammy. So you got to be careful, write each step. Do not skip. Okay? Do not skip. Write it all out. First thing I'm going to do, inverse operation of multiplications, division. I am dividing by a negative. When you divide or multiply by a negative, you must reverse the sign in order to keep the statement true. So I'm going to write it down right now. Okay. Now I go ahead and reverse the entire statement. Don't do it all at once. Okay. For 16, go ahead. Add 48 to both sides. Be careful, it's negative 90 plus 48. It's negative. Okay? You're dividing by a negative. Gotta go ahead, reverse the sign. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Okay. Got some trickery up here. Pay attention, pay attention. Trickery, trickery. Trickery. Right. Sorry, raccoony. Okay. So, no distributive, cannot combine like terms. I'm going to move the variable to one side. So I'm going to subtract my n. Oh, let's add the n. Okay, opposite of subtract n to add n. Okay. Now, this is gone. I could have done it the other way, but it's better to put them on the left. I could have subtracted this n, but then your n would be on the right. We have to flip it. So instead, I'm going to add the n, get rid of this one, and keep them on the left. Now, this right here, n plus n, talk it out real quick. I've got one n plus one n, so how many n's do I have? You guys that don't like this, you don't like how this looks, you're going 1n plus 1n. That's 2 n's. Okay? An n plus an n. Some of you guys are going to have a hard time with that one. Okay? Now divide by 2. Okay? You good? Keep going. When you have variables on both sides, go back to that DC ma'am, right? Keep this where you remember it. So you distribute, combine like terms, move the variable. You want the variable only on one side. Then undo, add, subtract, multiply, divide. I love that a student shared that with us. It's an easy way to remember that. DC ma'am. Okay, so I cannot combine like terms, cannot combine like terms. When I look at each side separately, they're not like terms, not like terms. So I'm going to get rid of the variable on the right, so everything's on the left. So it's just easier. Okay, that's gone. I've got 8. 8 is greater than -4 minus 7. Use your calculator. Think it first, do it, then use your calculator to check your work. Okay, you're in debt $4, you go more in debt 7, you're in debt 11. Now I want to get the x by itself. I have to get rid of the 3 and the 11. Always get rid of the add, subtract first. Okay, now you have to get rid of the -11. Mashed is multiplied. Inverse of multiplication is division. Now notice, I divided by a negative. As soon as you divide by a negative, you must reverse the inequality sign. Okay. You're only to use this video to help you think. You are not to use this video to do the work. If you do the video while I do it, then you pause it and you work and you think. Okay? Okay, here we go. I'm going to combine like terms on each side. Cannot combine. I can. We've got an N and an N. They're on the same side. We do what it says. We just talked about that. 1N plus 1N is 2N. Okay. I hope you're looking at the problem and going, oh no, it's one of those tricksters, right? It's another trick. Okay, think. I'm going to get the variables on the same side. You distribute, combine like terms, move the variable to the same side. When I do this, they both cancel, and I end up with 1 is less than 5. When you think of that on a number line, this is true. I have no variables in this statement. So independent of any variable, any number, if I put a 1 and a 1, if I put 2s, if I put -100s, any number will work. So we're going to write all real numbers. That's my solution, all real numbers. This one I am going to graph to remind you. When you graph all real numbers as your solution, you just color in everything on the graph, because every number, every real number makes this inequality true. I can plug in any real number and it's going to be true. Okay. Keep going. Okay, no distributive here. Cannot combine like terms on the left side of the inequality. On the right side I look. Okay. I do what it tells me to do. Just when they're on the same side, do what the statement tells me to do. It says 3 n's, and I take away 2 n's. That leaves me with 1 n on the right side. Notice I keep writing everything, keeping it all lined up so it's easy and pretty to look at. Now I'm going to move my variable. I'm going to get rid of the 1n. so that it's all together on the left. You don't have to do it that way. It's just easy for me. Now I want the n by itself. I have to get rid of the 3 and the 10. I undo add subtract first, and then I undo multiply divide. This is a plus in front of it. When nothing's written there, you know it's positive 10. So I subtract 10. Now I'm doing opposite operations because I'm doing them to opposite sides of the inequality sign. Okay? I'm dividing by a positive. There is a negative 6 here, but I don't reverse the symbol because a negative 6 is there. I only reverse if I divide by a negative or multiply by a negative. So I do not reverse the symbol. Okay? Okay. Got 2 more of this. Then we'll do a couple compound inequalities. Okay? So distribute. This one's hard. Be careful. Be careful, be careful. Negative 2 times n. Negative 2 with a minus 6. The 2 subtractions or the 2 negatives cancel to become a positive 12. That's the trick on that one. That one's hard. Don't be caught in the trickery. Okay? Now this is a negative 2m, this is a positive 2m. Some of you guys might want to write it all on the positive side and then flip the whole statement. I'm just going to go ahead and move everything to the left in the beginning. Get all my m's together. You could do it either way, you will get the same answer. Negative 2, subtract 2 more puts me at negative 4. Okay, I want the m by itself. I have to get rid of 4 and 12. The 12 is included with addition. Inverse operation of division is, addition. Inverse of addition is subtraction. Okay, again, I'm dividing by a negative. When I divide by a negative, I must reverse the inequality sign, or it's no longer true. Okay, last one. Little raccoony. Okay. We always have to do distributive property first. Remember, that's multiply. When the 2 is mashed to the parenthesis, mashed is multiply. After we distribute, we combine like terms on each side. These are not like terms. I look over here. Okay, I can combine these. They're on the same side, so I just do what it says. 14 minus 1. 14 subtract 1 is 13. Now I move my variables all to the same side. You can add 4x if you want. I'm going to subtract 10x. Either way works. Either way is true. Subtract 4, subtract 10. Use your calculator if you can't do. Or think it and then check with your calculator. And now I'm going to add 1 to both sides. I'm dividing by a negative. So I know I have to reverse the symbol. There you go. Okay. I'm going to rewrite this. On the test, I give you the statement and then the number lines below it. Here, it just didn't give me that option. So, and I wanted you to graph these, so I'm going to rewrite mine under it so we could see it. When I rewrite it, I could see I have the word or. So I'm going to space it because it helps my brain see it better. Or is going to be a split answer with what we're doing. Okay, it's usually or is less than a number and or is greater than a number. Like it'll usually be a split. And then I'm going to put over here. I think that how you write it helps you see it and complete it better. So I put a big space in there. You might want to think, you could draw a line. I'm just going to put my toothpick here. I'm splitting this up. I got two separate problems. I've got this problem and I've got this problem. My solution, it's like when I told you guys, stand up if you're wearing red or, this is probably not the right colors I did, red or blue, then everybody that stood up red, everyone that wore red stood up. Or blue, everyone that was wearing blue stood up. So or was if you had on red, if you had on blue, stand up. And it was a combination of everyone with those colors. That's a union. That's what we're doing now, the union of both answers. All of these are true. This side's true, this side's true. All of them together make the final solution. So everything that's less than 5 is part of the answer. As well as everything greater than equal to a 9. That's part of the answer. So this is my answer. That's how I write it. N is less than 5 or N is greater than equal to 9. And this is, like I said, it's a split, right? It's a split. So we're going less than 5, open circle. Okay, greater than 9. Again, I hope that you guys are pausing it and just checking. Greater than equal to. Okay. The rest of these are all ands. Okay. I've got between situations. These are going to be, this P is between these two. I'm going to space it so it's easier for me to look at. I suggest on your cheat sheet you maybe put this example 23 on your cheat sheet, put example 24 on your cheat sheet. Help yourself out. Okay. Now this one is kind of like we're solving it and we have to keep all three balanced. We have to keep the left, the center, and the right. We have to do the same, when we're doing opposite operations, we do it to all three. My goal is to have P in the center, okay, alone, isolated. So that means I have to get rid of this negative, subtract 10. To get rid of subtract 10, we add 10, so I'm doing opposite operations, and I have to do it to all three, left, the right, and the center, okay? When I do that, this is gone. P is left in the center alone. Negative 4 plus 10, do it, check it with your calculator. Negative 5 plus 10. Okay, this says, I could read it this way, P is less than 6 and P is greater than a 5. P is between 6 and 5. Oops, it's up here. Sorry. P is between 6, open circle, 5, open circle, but it's everything in between here. 5.1, 5.99999, everything between 5 and 6. I have another. This is a between statement. Or is your split. We're not doing ors. This is our only or of these four. I'm going to rewrite it with more spacing so it's easier for me to look at. Okay? I want the B isolated and left in the center by itself so that B is between a high and low number. Okay, so I end up with B is between negative 10 and 6. Okay, I'm going to read it again. Negative 10 is less than equal to B is less than 6. It's easy for me to see. It's B is between a low and a high number. Less than equal to. It's all, any number I pick in this area, I could pick any number between and including negative 10 and 6, and we'll make that inequality true. Okay, last one. Okay. Let's add 4. N less than equal to negative 4 and negative 6. So when I graph this one, negative 4 is my high, and less than equal to, so it's colored in. 6, no equal to, so it's open.